Hello everyone, welcome to Automation E2E. In this tutorial, we are going to explore all the get methods provided by the WebDriver. Most of these methods are used to retrieve important information from the browser like page title, current URL, and more. I'll walk you through each method listed on the screen, explaining how they work and when to use them. So, let's get started. First is get method. In the previous tutorial, you have seen me using this method many times. It is used to navigate WebDriver to a specific URL. The way it behaves is, it loads a new page in the current browser window, and if you already have something open, it will replace that page with the new URL that was provided. This is one of the most important method in WebDriver, as it's essential for opening a web page at the start of your test. You will always need to use this method because only after the page is loaded you can interact with its elements. It's typically used in test setup to load the URL before interacting with elements or when navigating to a new page during the test. It can throw the listed exceptions in certain scenarios, like timeout exception when page takes too long to load, invalid argument exception if the URL that we have provided is not formatted correctly or is null, WebDriver exception, which is a general exception when the browser fails to load the page, like browser crashes or you have provided a wrong driver. I'll show you some of these exceptions as well in the demo. Let's get back to our IDE, create a new Java class. Let's name it as WebDriver getMethodsDemo. Let's write public static void main here, public static void main, string array args. Let's create WebDriver. Let's try out, can use Chrome driver dot get. You can see these are the 6 methods that we are going to see in this tutorial. Let's start with the get one. Here we would have to enter the URL of our site. Let's again use the one that we used in our first tutorial, that is Sauce Labs. Let's run this program and see what happens. So that is how you open a page. Now let's see what happens when a URL has been already entered here. So in that case, I'll open google.com. I'll add thread.sleep so that you can see the execution. For a second, let's add that it throws an exception here. So let's see if something is already open. In that case, how this get method behaves. Let me run this program. So as you can see, Google has been opened. It will wait for a certain time, and then Sauce Lab has been opened. So it basically replaces the first page. Now let's have a look at some of the exceptions that are there. So let's say I have not formatted this google.com properly. I'm just going to enter Google here. So this is not a valid URL. Let's see what happens in this case. I'm going to run this program. The browser would still open, but here you can see the exception that we discussed, that is invalid argument exception. It will throw this exception. So that is how you use this get method. This is one of the most important method in WebDriver. As I said, you will always need to use it to set up your test and to open the URL. Next is getURL method. This method retrieves the current URL of the page that the WebDriver has currently opened. It is used in scenarios such as validating navigation after performing an action, such as clicking a link or submitting a form. In this case, it helps us to ensure that the correct page is loaded. We can use it to write assertions to check if expected URL matches the actual URL. It can throw the listed exceptions. Let's go back to IntelliJ and write a program to see how it works and how we can use it. So for that purpose, let us use the code that we wrote in tutorial 3 to log into Sauce Lab website and use getCurrentUrl method to perform validation on it. So let's go here. Let me copy this and paste it here. So as you can see, we are going to the website. We are finding username element. We are sending the username. We are finding the password, sending the password to it. And finally, we are going to click on the login button. So let's see manually when we perform these actions, which URL we are redirected to. Let's go to Chrome and enter the URL. Let's use the standard user, Sauce Lab secret. So as you can see, we are here at saucelab.com/v1/inventory.html. Let's copy this. So this will be our expected landing URL. So let us write it here. Expected homepage URL. Let me paste it here so that it's visible. Now what we are going to do is we are going to use string actual homepage URL is equal to, and here we're going to use driver.getCurrentUrl method. So as you can see in this actual one, we'll have the actual URL that after performing this actions, we will land on. And this is the expected one which we got manually. So ideally these two should be equal. So let's validate that. Again, for now, we'll use if else loop. So the expected URL should be equal to actual URL. And if this is the case, we should print that test has been passed. So let's write test was successful and current URL is, let's write the actual URL. And in case it fails, else let's write it as test failed and current URL is the actual URL. All right. So this is the basic test wherein we are going to validate if after the automation script is being executed, we are landing on the correct page and the URL that is there is correct. So let's execute this program. So as you can see, it has landed on the page, and let's see in the console. Yep, as you can see, the test was successful and the current URL is as expected. So this is how you can use getCurrentUrl method. You can use it to validate if after performing a certain action, the website is reaching its desired destination. Next is getTitle method. This method returns the title of the current web page as a string. It is useful in verifying if the correct page is loaded by checking its title. It is helpful in test assertions where you need to ensure the page title matches an expected value. It can throw the below listed exceptions. We're here. So the use case is to check after login to the Sauce Labs demo site if the landing page has the correct title. So we'll reuse the code that is still login, and here instead of expected homepage URL, we'll be checking title. To get the expected title, let's go back to our website. Here we had already logged into the website, and to get the title, right click, inspect. Let me bring it down. As we saw in tutorial 5, the head section contains the title. So this is the title of this site, that is Sauce Labs, and this is the same thing that will be displayed here. So the head tag of HTML basically has all the metadata and titles. Also it has links to the style sheets. So we'll copy this and we will add it to our code. So this is the expected one, and to find the actual homepage title, let me replace this to title. We'll be using the method that we just saw, that is getTitle method. All right, so let me replace this here, the expected one and the actual one. All right, and let me paste the actual URL. Also here it needs to be title. Let's write it as page title. All right, our code is ready, and let's run it. So it has logged into the site and it has reached the landing page. Here you can see the test was successful and current page title is Sauce Labs. So that is how you can use it to check the titles of the page. So let's play around with a couple of more sites. So let me comment out this code and let's use system.out.println to print current page title, and let's create a variable to store it. Driver.getTitle. All right, now this will give us the title of Sauce Labs. Let's copy paste this code and let's just remove this declaration, and let's change the website here. Let's use a different website and see what title that website has. For that purpose, let's open automation practice website, automation exercise website, and let's see what it has. Again, we'll go to head section and we'll see the title. It's automation exercise. So this is the title. I'll just copy this URL and let's print it out in our code. I've entered this URL here, and let's run the code and see what it prints. So it has opened the browser. So opened Sauce Labs. Now it is going to automation exercise. So both the code was executed, and you can see here that the titles of both pages are printed here. So in this way, you can use getTitle method to get the title of the current page that is there. Next is getPageSource method. This method returns the entire HTML source of the current page in the form of string. It is not a very frequently used method, but it can be used for validating the page content by searching for specific element or text within the HTML. At times people use it for debugging purpose where you might want to inspect the full page source. These are some exceptions that it can throw. So let's get back to our browser. Here in this site, let's see what we can expect the getPageSource method to return. For that, right click here and you see that we have an option that is view page source. This is the HTML page source that this method will return. So let's go to our IDE. We're back to IntelliJ and we are going to use SauceLab demo, and let's use the getPageSource method. Driver.getPageSource. Let's check this method out. So as you can see, it returns a string value and it gets the source of the latest loaded page. We'll go back here, and since it's returned string, we'll take it in a string. Current page source. All right, so let's print that out. Let's see what we have got. So I'm running this program. It has opened the site and it has printed the page source here. So as you can see, it has printed the entire page source. You can see the title, the tags, the head tag, the body tag, and all the elements that are there. We have got everything. So let's see the use case. Like, we have already printed the page source. Let's see how we can use it. Let's say you're out of all options and you're not able to locate an element. You tried XPath, or XPath is getting too complicated, and you want to see if this particular page contains any particular text or web element, or let's say any particular style sheet has been included. So for that purpose, we can use this method to see if page source contains that particular text. So for that, let me print out. So for that, let's see if this particular page contains the password. Let's say we want to see the secret sauce password is been printed or not on this page. So for that page, so let's see if password is displayed on the page. For that, current page dot. So as this current page is a string, you can see this is a string. This is a string. You can use a method that is contains. So let's see what this contains method do. This basically returns true if and only if the string contains the specified sequence of characters. So if it contains it, it will return true, or else it will return false. It's simple to use. So herein I'll enter the password that I copied. All right, let's run this and see what's the output. Okay, so since the secret sauce is present on this page, we have got true here. So in similar way, let's see something that is not displayed here. Let's enter the name of our channel and run the program again. So you can see you got a false here in this case. So that is how you use getPageSource method. Next is getWindowHandle method. Whenever we open a browser, each window is assigned a unique window handle. To get this window handle, we use getWindowHandle method. This method returns a unique identifier in a form of string for the window currently being controlled by the WebDriver. This is very important method when it comes to handling multiple windows while automating. It can be used when you need to switch between multiple windows or pop-ups and return to the original window later. These are some exceptions that it can throw. Let's get back to IntelliJ. Let me delete this. Now we are going to just read the current window handle of this SauceLab website. We will create a separate tutorial on how to handle windows and see different types of scenarios that we come across while handling multiple windows. So let me driver.getWindowHandle. Let's see what this method has. So this method returns string and returns an opaque handle to the window that uniquely identified within the driver instance. This can be used to switch to the window at a later date. So this should be taken in a string. So I'll take it in a string window handle and let's print it out. Current window handle is, and let's print the window handle. Okay, let me run this. So as you can see, this is the current window handle. Let me paste it here. And this will be unique for this particular browser instance. So whenever you are dealing with multiple windows, you can use this identifier to identify this particular window, and you can use it to come back to this window. So every time you start a new execution or a new browser instance is opened, this value changes. So let me rerun this and see what value we get this next time. It has opened it and it has got the Windows handle. So as you can see, this particular value here is different from what we got previously. So that is how getWindowHandle works. The next method is getWindowHandles. This method returns a set of strings of all window handles available to the WebDriver instance. Each window or tab opened by the browser will have a unique handle, and this method allows us to switch between them. This is also a very important method when it comes to handling multiple windows while automating. It can be used when dealing with multiple windows or browser tabs in your test cases. For example, after clicking a link that opens a new tab, you can switch to it and perform further action. Also, managing pop-ups and dialogues by switching to appropriate window using the handle. Even this is useful for closing a particular window out of multiple windows or tabs that are open. These are a few exceptions that this method can throw. That is, no such window exception. If any of the window has been closed by the time you attempt to access them, we get this exception. Then we have stale element reference exception. If a window you are trying to access is no longer available or its reference has become stale, we get this exception. Let's get to the browser and let me show you the website that we are going to use. We're going to use the same website that we used in our last tutorial. In here, I went to this browser window section. Here you have 3 buttons, each of them doing a separate functionality. First, like the name suggests, opens a new tab, new window message. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to click on this new tab button and it's going to open a new tab, and we are going to fetch the window handles for these 2 tabs. Alright, to do that, let's first write a code. So I'll write driver.get and I'll paste the URL here, and then driver.find element and by. So how are we going to find the element? Let's get back to the site for that. Right click, inspect. So let's inspect this new tab button. So as you can see, there's no good attribute present here to identify this element. So let's try it with XPath. Let's press Ctrl F. The tab is here. And like we did in the last tutorial, we'll be using a relative XPath. So in this case, there is no attribute or anything present here. So if you see the hierarchy, there are no any concrete XPath identifiers here as well. So let's try to find it by using this visible text, that is new tab. So let me copy this and let's write a XPath to find the element by text. So for that, we'll do something like this, and we'll use a method called text method. So, and we have to give equal to. So what this method does is, whatever text that I'll give here, it will match that on the DOM and it will try to find a element that exactly matches that text. So I've added the text in double quotes. And as you can see, I was able to find this new tab button uniquely. As you can see, there is just one element. So let me use this XPath. So I'm back to the code and where we stopped, and by we are going to use XPath, and I've pasted the XPath here. Now basically 2 windows will be open in our browser, and what we have to do is we have to use the getHandles method, driver.getWindowHandles method, to get these 2 window handles. So let's go to this window handles method. As you see, it returns a set of window handles which can be used to iterate over all windows of the browser by passing them to switch to function. This is how it works, and it is going to return a set of strings. When we open different instances of browser windows and tabs, every tab and window is assigned a unique window handle. So to hold unique values in Java, the collection that best suits this purpose is set. That's why they have provided a return type as set of strings so that there are no duplicate values in it. So let's use set of, it would be string. Let's name it as window handles. As you can see, we need to import this set here. I've imported it from Java util. So this is what we have imported, and let's print it out. System.out.println, and we're going to print window handles. So here we have to click on it. So I'm performing the click action. So now we are going to go to that URL, click on the new tab button. Once the tab opens, we are going to get the window handles in the form of set, and we are going to print it out. So let's run this program. So as you can see, new tab was opened. There are a total of 2 tabs here, and here you can see 2 handles are printed and they are unique. So this way you can iterate over this set and handle multiple tabs. Let's say you want to switch between tabs, you can use the handles that this method provides. So All this advanced handling will be taken care of in a separate tutorial, which would be dedicated to knowing how to handle multiple windows in Selenium. To sum up, get method loads a new web page and is used to open a page for testing. getCurrentUrl method retrieves the current URL and is used in scenarios such as validating navigation after performing an action. getTitle method returns the page title, which helps in test assertions to ensure the title matches the expected value. getPageSource method returns the HTML source of the page and is useful for validating content and debugging. getWindowHandle returns the unique handle of current window and helps in managing multiple windows or pop-ups. getWindowHandles method returns a set of all open window handles, allowing you to switch between multiple windows or tabs. All these methods are essential for WebDriver automation and used in different parts of web interactions to manage navigation, page properties, and handling multiple windows or tabs. In the next tutorial, we'll dive into findElement and findElements method, exploring their differences and how to use them effectively. That's all for this tutorial. If you found it helpful, do like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching.